Greetings. Welcome to day 24 of the 31 Days of Tarot Challenge 2019. Today's prompt is, what card do you feel is the most misunderstood and why? Well, funny you should ask. No. All right. I'm going out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that first of all, I think pretty much all of the minor arcana is pretty much misunderstood. I mean that sincerely. I mean that by everybody. I think a lot of us have the tendency, because it's the minor arcana, like when we get a card from the major arcana, we really pay attention to it. We really try to get to know it. You know, some people spend like a couple years just studying the major arcana so they can really get to know what the cards mean. When they're looking in a deck, what cards make or break the deck for you, they look to major arcana cards to see how the card is portrayed in a deck. We tend to overlook the minor arcana and the importance of the minor arcana cards. The first thing we learn when we're reading the tarot is the minor arcana deals with just the little things in life, the everyday stuff. Well, I want to tell you it's the everyday stuff that makes up life. Okay? That's what makes life. Everyday stuff, the little daily grind determines whether we have a happy life, a sad life, a fun life. It's the stuff of every day. Okay? That being said, many of us tend to give things just patent answers. Heartbreak, loss, disappointment, right? That's what this means. I'm looking up here because I have some teaching charts up here. What do I have on here? Three of Swords. Misunderstanding. Some kind of misunderstanding. Loss. Period. That's all it is. Simple as that. But every once in a while we come across, and I've shown you this before, a deck that has this Three of Swords illustrated with a completely different understanding. It's still the same, but this is from the Wildwood Tarot, called the Three of Arrows. The keyword is jealousy. A lot of people read this, can be read as jealousy as well. So we haven't changed the meaning of the card necessarily, but we haven't necessarily understood the meaning of the card. And this shows us why. Here we have a wooden heart, heart-shaped cutout hanging on a tree branch that is on fire with 3 arrows piercing it. And it has what looks like blood coming out of it. So at first glance, not much different from this card. Here we have a heart. We have the clouds overhead. We have a black place in the sky. Is that rain? Something coming from the sky? Looks like more like sleet to me. I'm not sure what that is. The arrows piercing the heart. Not much difference, right? Look deeper. Look deeper in this card. I don't know if you can see. I hope you can. The fire is burning. The wood heart is on fire, but it is not being consumed by the flame. Okay? That's number 1. Number 2, the blood that is dripping down from the holes made in the heart is going into the ground. It's going into the ground, which is a really big part of this illustration. That is where the nutrients, that's where the root of the trees lie, underneath there. And there's cracks there in the ground, showing that the blood is seeping down in the cracks, nourishing the roots below. enabling the tree to continue growing. This doesn't have anything to say about that. This is an abbreviated picture, right? But this reminds us, and this is not the only deck that does this. We see this is one of the reasons we look at other decks for inspiration. But when we get a new deck, we pay special attention. We just don't pick up this card and go, loss, jealousy, heartache, right? Misunderstanding. We look deeper and we see that we can grow. We're gonna burn. It's gonna hurt, but it's not gonna kill us. We might bleed, but we're gonna grow from that wound. It's gonna cause us to grow stronger, better, right? The little things in life. The little things in life are really big things. If we never felt pain, we would never feel joy. Okay? How many times have you heard something like that? A lot of times, right? A couple other cards to look at. I could pick up any card and do it because I think every card in the tarot is both positive and negative, I think. And the minor arcana particularly. Because they're brief moments. They represent small moments in our life. Small moments. So as day to day, as we move through life, you don't just wake up in the morning and punch your wife in the face, I hope. If you're mad at your wife, it's sort of something that builds up. Maybe yesterday you're a little peeved. Last night, pretty peeved. I got up this morning, last straw. I'm going to say it. I'm mad. I fight with you. I go off to work. And thinking, well, that's over. Hope that's over. We'll get through this. We always do. And by the time you get back home, things are probably okay, right? It's just not the moment in time that involves the, punching your wife, or I hate your wife. I hate my wife. I should be saying I hate my husband, but I don't hate my husband. Anyway, I picked a wife at random. So these things build over a period of time. It's not like one, it's just, it comes and goes a little bit each day, and then it fades. It's ebbs and tides, ebb and tide of life, okay? The Five of Cups is a card that is all about disappointment, loss. Oh, I had something, I'm disappointed and I don't like what I had. I just don't care about it anymore. What does it say up on my chart? It says probably some kind of a bad choice was made, maybe a loss of some kind of relationship. Again, some kind of loss. And oh, woe is me, the head is down, the back is to the cups that are overturned on the ground. But we're looking across at the place across the water, and a lot of times people read this as, oh, if I could just build a bridge and get over the water, if I could just get away from where I am and get where I want to be over here. Okay, but I want to show you something. This is the Five of Cups. It's actually the Five of Vessels in the Wildwood Tarot, and instead of it being, disappointment, the keyword is ecstasy, and it is about looking deeper, looking beyond what is in front of you, looking deeper, communicating. They're communicating, they're dancing, connecting maybe with another, connecting with the spiritual, on a spiritual level, okay? It's all about increasing your spirituality and, having this ceremonial or ecstasy, dance of ecstasy, which we attribute to, reaching and getting higher plane, looking deeper, seeing more meaning in things that are around you instead of the everyday nothingness. We're looking at something bigger than ourselves. Okay, where this card is turning down, looking into himself. Poor piddle of me. But what is that water, that same water that we see, the water here, which usually tells us, go with the flow, get into the water, look deeper into the water, to see what's really going on, to see what you really do have. This maybe it was a shallow decision, a very shallow judgment made too quickly. Maybe not really appreciating it. The water is not just get over it, the water is get into it. Get into it. Pick those cups up again and look. Right? Maybe it was a bad choice, but maybe it's, it's not as bad as you think. Maybe it's not as bad as you think. It's not going to be the end of your world. It's not going to be the end of your day. Find something to take you beyond, carry you beyond. Okay? Carry you beyond, relate on a different level. This is kind of really negative, just the way it is. This is very positive where it is. I think, somewhere in between is the reality of the situation. Okay? The last one that I'm going to look at, I could pick up every one of these and I'm not going to. But the last one I want to look at is the Seven of Swords. And the Seven of Swords is all about, maybe something was tricked or somebody tricked. What do I have up here? I'm just curious. I just realized I have these charts up here. Getting away with something. Maybe there's some kind of deception or some kind of betrayal. That kind of a vibe, right, to the card. There's really not too much positive about that. But here we see it in this card. It is more, rather than deception, it is insecurity. In this card, it's called the Seven of Arrows in the Wildwood deck. And it is labeled insecurity. Insecurity. This person is not trying to deceive anybody. This person is sort of in a panic. She doesn't want to see. She doesn't want to see herself. She doesn't want to look. She's got her eyes closed. She's got her hand over her, woe is me kind of a thing. And there are arrows instead of swords, but the arrows look like they're going to pierce her flesh. They don't really look like they have pierced her. One of them she's kind of holding in her arm, holding in here like her arm. Maybe a few of them have pierced her. But maybe it's something that she has caused herself. She's caused herself some harm. That's what's implied in the picture. She's, maybe it's her emotional security or her lack of making good decisions, This man is not really making good decisions, but here he's getting away with it. Here, she might get away with it, but not with herself. Okay, so this is an external deception. This is kind of an internal deception. There's no harm done here to anyone, it doesn't seem to, than to herself. This one seems to be purely about harming others or getting away with things. But is that really what it says? It really says, this isn't a very good card for this, but I know in the Rider-Waite version, because this is a hoi polloi, there's a camp of men in the background here where they're seeing that he's not getting away with it. So he might be going to be getting caught. He thinks he's getting away with something that he's probably not getting away with. In this card, she's got her eyes closed, so she's not even going to, she doesn't even see where those arrows have come from. They're just something that is happening to her, probably by her. Not sure. But they're what I'm trying to say is the point about bringing these cards out in is they're very complex cards. They're not as simple as, as some of them appear. They're not as simple as this. So in that sense, I think a lot of them are misunderstood. How can we get over them being misunderstood? Some people will say, well, if they're so hard to read, how am I ever going to learn to read them? One of the things I have on my channel, I have a tarot playlist, which has a lot of hints, sort of exercises and stuff in how to read the tarot. And one thing that I say over and over again is tarot cards are not meant to be read individually. I don't think. I didn't create it. But it seems to me it makes so much more sense if we read them in context. Words don't make a lot of sense. I mean, we can say a word and our words are, you have to, can I have the word in context to see what it means, to see what your meaning is, And we need to see the tarot cards in context to see what the meaning is too, to see how they relate to other cards, to really see where they're going to go. So I just want to tell you, if you are in the habit of habitually just picking up a card and reading it a certain way, to really take some time to look at both the negative and positive in any card, because everything has both negative and positive in it, and to pay special attention to the intention of the person writing the deck. What was their intention for the card, okay? And then to use context when reading. Where is it what position is it in the spread? What are the cards around it? How do they relate to it, etc. And if we do those things, I think, we're going to be understanding more. I think that's the only way we can understand a card. If that makes sense. But I hope it makes sense. Like, yeah, I don't know. But it'll make sense. Sorry. Thanks for watching. I'm Rebecca, and I send you blessings.